Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of Rich T Racing, and welcome to what was probably the most ambitious recording I've ever attempted, certainly on any YouTube channel that I've ever had. What I'm basically going to be doing, as I'm sure you've no doubt guessed from the title of the video, is I'm doing a full race commentary on the Club 100 Endurances that took place at Ellough Park back at the end of July, just over a month ago now. The reason for this is mainly because I didn't do the SP60 for Ellough. I missed it because I was meant to be in Hungary at this time for the Grand Prix, but that didn't happen. Got all my money back, just to make sure, just so you know, so it didn't work out too bad in the end. But yeah, I was meant to be in Hungary, so I didn't book myself on to the SP60. Then obviously Hungary didn't happen, so I was booked in for Ellough for the endurance. Tried to get in for the SP60 but just couldn't. We were waiting for Tim Williams, I think, or it might have been Ian Williams, not sure. The guy who has Williams on the back of his suit. He was late, and I was constantly going back and forth from the podium to the office to find out, is he coming? Is he coming? He came. So that's why there's no SP60s. But what I wanted to do instead was bring you all of the footage for the endurances as a supplement for that. I didn't want there to be. I basically want to make sure there's a video for every track this year, and with this, I am now still on course to do that. So that's basically the intro on the way. Obviously, as you can see, this is a 2 hour and 27-minute video. This is more of a passion project for me. It's just something I want to do. I do not expect any of you to stay with me for the majority, but if you do, if you're mad enough to, thank you very much. Hopefully you are one of the 400 odd people that are subscribed to the channel, and hopefully you can enjoy the content that I bring your way. So yeah, let's get into it then with the endurances. So the team name is the Three Swans. Some people have questioned if this is named after a pub or something. It's not. What it is literally, it's me and my two mates, Jasper Chamberlain and Tom Hollenby, and we all went to Swansea University. We all raced for the Swansea University Motorsport team in the BUKC, and that's how we all became friends. And then we started racing together outside of university when Tom and Jasper had graduated. We did the BUKC Grad Championship. So we decided for this year in particular, we wanted to keep on doing it, and give it a proper good go, and try and win the championship, which is mainly why we entered the intermediate championship. Some people have accused us, when I say some people, I mean Andrew Mather mainly, of Double Dash Motorsport Media, have accused us of pot hunting. Basically, we entered a lower championship, so we had a better chance of success. There's probably some truth in that, but we weren't going into this year. All we had to go on was the fact that last year, the only endurance race we did, me, Tom, and James Derrick at Buckmore, which you can watch that video on this channel, we came third, and we could have come second. I just had a little bit of an off there. Just took a bit too much speed into the. I think it's the second part of turn 2 or turn 3, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we weren't sure how we were going to get on, so that's why we entered ourselves into the intermediates, where we didn't want to basically be just sort of running around at the back. So yeah, there we go. We decided to enter the Inter-Championship, and as it turns out, we're firmly in the championship fight. We are currently leading the championship. I'll just find out for you what the championship is currently looking like. Depending on what type of mood I'm in, there might be graphics on the screen. But yeah, so at the moment, we are leading with 565 points to Brilio's 465, so we have a 100-point gap on them. Then it's Big Sky Racing behind with 415. Then Formula None, the Centurions, J2D2, Team Jaws. J2D2 and Team Jaws are race winners this year as well, along with ourselves and Brilio. And then Muttley Crew lining in 8th, Maximum Effort Racing in 9th, and Ragazzi Racing in 10th. So that's your top 10 in the Intermediate Championship. So yeah, we are leading the championship. I think our main strengths are the fact that, first of all, the three of us are individually fast, and also we're very consistent. We've made very few mistakes this year, if not any. The only time something went genuinely wrong was at Rye House when our car broke down, and we finished 5th, a race that we would have won had that not happened. So there we go. But anyway, so that is a little bit of an introduction to the team, to how we're doing. Not sure if we're going to be doing it. If we do it next year, we will probably be a clubman team, just to round off the whole why we're racing an Inters type scenario. But yeah, so that's all the introduction. So let's now get into this track itself, this day itself. So today it is just me and Jasper. Tom was away doing, I think he was at a wedding of some description. It looks like I'm defending at this point. We're about to get qualifying going. But yeah, so Tom is away. It's me and Jasper. I've been to this track before. So that meant that I went out and did qualifying. Jasper's never been here, but I think Jasper on his day has a couple of attempts on me. So sort of it depends really if he can get himself turned on, which he has been really this year. Jasper tended to be a bit of a driver. Certainly back in BUKC days, he was a driver who got black flags, spun loads, and could just be genuinely crap. But there were also times when he was amazing. He won a race at the BUKC Drivers' Champs, and he also led a decent part of the opening stint of the Endurances at Houghton Park in his final year racing for Swansea. So a bit of a mixture as to as this is a track we had no frame of reference for Jasper. It only made sense that I go out and do the qualifying for this race. I'm just trying to see, have we got qualifying underway yet? I'm not entirely sure that we have. We've been overtaken by this chap in the grey helmet. So yeah, so I went out. So I'm about to start qualifying any moment now. Whenever qualifying does get underway, when you see that green flag appear on the digi flag, make sure to say hello to it every time I go underneath it. So yeah, that's what we were setting out to do. And the frame of reference for me for Ellough is the fact that I again have raced here before and have also won here. I won my very first race in Club 100 here back in 2017, so a good 4 years ago now. It took me almost 4 years to win another one. That was this year at Lyd, followed quite quickly by Rye. But yeah, that's what we're setting out to do. As qualifying must have surely got underway by this point, because I was only out for 5 minutes. Actually, oh no, I tell a lie, because obviously we're doing 22 and a half minutes each of the session. So I got this very wrong. So yeah, we've got about 12 and a half minutes of practice footage for you here, and then qualifying will get underway, I'm sure, in a couple of minutes. So I've got more time to ramble. Lovely bit of rambling here. So yeah, that's why I'm going. That's why I'm going out to do qualifying. Only win here at Ellough Park back in 2017, and yeah, really. So was hopeful of being able to get into the groove, remember how to do the track. Did a very good track introduction video, if I do say so myself, in the build-up to this one, because I'd always wanted to bring a video of me winning my first race, so I was able to do that. And also do a track introduction video, which have been by far and away the most popular videos on this channel this year. I think the Bayford one, for example, has got over 1,000 views. The Ellough one's gone over 500. I think the Lyd one's over 500. Rye House a little bit down, but yeah, doing really well. So that was a really enjoyable video for me to make, and obviously to see it get more views than subscribers that I have is always a plus. So yeah, that is sort of the intro to me and Ellough, why I'm doing qualifying. So at this stage of the practice session, just sort of trying to find my groove. What I remember through practice, sort of just watching it back here as well, I remember that I wasn't really getting the penultimate hairpin, or rather the sort of, you've got it's the one you go down the hill, and then it's an immediate left, and you've got the barrier right next to you. I was braking too late, trying to carry too much speed into the corner, which I think is potentially a flaw with my driving style, or certainly my driving style starting or coming to a track that I'm not particularly familiar with. Trying to brake a bit too late and just not quite getting it right. That happened at Rye a lot in the endurances, but then in the SP60 I got the hang of it, worked out where my braking point was, and really felt, particularly in the practice session for the SP60, and then in race number 1, I felt really on it with the braking there. So yeah, it's just something I sort of got to build myself up to, and I think by the time we get to whenever qualifying starts, which should be in just over 2 minutes. In fact, no, here we go. We are now doing qualifying, so we're going to get these laps underway. You can just see there through turn 1, just missing the apex on this first lap, taking possibly a bit too much of a wide line through turn 2 as well. So yeah, just building ourselves up at this point, probably in the knowledge that the lap's not quite hooking up at this stage, but keeping a nice tight line through the first of the flat out left-hander, and you can see there just braking a little bit earlier and getting a much better line through that hairpin. So by this point I think I have pretty much got it. Using my braking point was just beyond the penultimate flag. Quite like this corner, this final corner, I think, unless you count this little curve in the straight as a corner. If you do, a bit odd. But yeah, it was sort of getting the hang of it. Turn 1 was proving a little bit of a handful at this stage. You can see just missing the apex once again. So just clipping that lovely apex there, and that's better. Look how much quicker on the power I got there compared to the previous lap. And then a nice little bit of braking down into the second hairpin, and now flat out through, or just run it a little bit too wide there on entry into the left-hander. Keep to the left, swing it to the right, and then brake just on the brow of the hill, back on the power in the middle of the apex, and get a nice clean run up towards the final hairpin on this track. The next one is not quite a hairpin, but it's almost pretty much a hairpin, but more yeah, no, that's not quite a hairpin, but that was a tiny little lap. That one, it has to be said, but it's still missing the apex at the first corner. Looks like, not sure maybe if it's the camera angle that makes it look like I'm not hitting the apex, because it seems like I'm doing it every single time now. But it looks like we might have just carried a little bit too much speed through that. Actually, no, I think we've done that pretty much perfectly through turns 2 and 3. I'm going to call them turns 2 and 3 so there's no confusion, because obviously you do turn right and then you turn right again, so you could say it's an extended turn 2. I'm calling it turn 2 and turn 3 at Buckmore, sort of the equivalent corner at Buckmore to Conways and Henry's Bend. We just lost a little bit of time there on an exit of the right left hairpin. At Buckmore they're considered 2 different corners, so I'm going to consider them 2 different corners at this track as well. Crossing the line now to complete another lap. That's better through turn 1. That was much better. It looked like we really got the apex there, so this could be a decent little lap. We're just trying to feather it through turns 2 and turn 3, and using the runoff area to good effect to just come through turn 4 then. So we might have just taken a little bit too much curb on the exit of, on the apex of that corner. Just going to make sure, probably should have had this already before I started commentating, but I'm just going to make sure I've got the results for this session up on the screen now. Hopefully we'll be able to tell you when the fastest lap was. If I can try and keep track of it. I think it is coming up, but we shall have to see. We'll have to see, ladies and gentlemen. It's this voyage discovery that I enjoy so much here doing these types of commentaries. Again, never done a commentary on this channel of this magnitude. I've been meaning to do commentaries on the endurance series. I had a lovely chat with a chap called I think it was Alex Pritchard. I think. Oh god, I've forgotten his name, but he's the chap that races in the red with Pritch, who will always race together. No, it wasn't Alex Pritchard. That's who I get. That's the same name. No, I've forgotten his name. I'm really sorry if you are watching this. But me and you had a really good chat at Lid about karting and how he whenever he sees me coming, he always thinks like, oh yeah, okay, he's faster. Let's try and keep up with him. No, oh god, that sounds so self-centered. Yeah. Let's move on. From that, I always thought I must do a commentary of a full endurance race. Just sit there, watch the footage, and commentate over it. And so yeah, here we are at last doing this mammoth commentary. I think this might be the fastest lap, because it was a lap 9 I did the fastest lap on, and I think we're getting towards the end of the footage. Let's just have a look how we get on through there. Little bit of curb on at the apex, but we do get a nice exit out of that hairpin, and now we'll just slightly miss the apex of the final of the penultimate hairpin. Get a decent run through the final corner, and now off to start another lap. I will let you know if that was the fastest lap in just a second. Come through turn 1, and it looks like we really missed the apex of the corner there. Just catching up to the back of these guys in front. In fact, I think one of them is Dickie Allen, someone who is a fantastic racing driver, but someone who I consider a sort of nemesis, so to say, in the Club 100 world, because he is by far and away the fastest super heavyweight driver in the SP60 for certain. And I beat him at Wilton last year, but the 2 times he's raced this year, he's beaten me and taken the winner's trophy. So anytime I get an opportunity to get close to him and can try and overtake him, I'm going to take it. Because that's how I roll. That's how I do these things. If memory serves me correctly, I think I will actually. I think the next lap, when I overtake, I think I'm going to overtake this guy in the white. That will be my fastest lap. So we will wait to see when that one happens. So for the moment, we are just going about our business, looking very consistent, has to be said. That's one of the things that Jasper and Tom, and also the Team Pew family, whose racing name I have to admit I have forgotten at this point, but Adam and Simon Pew, who have raced for Rich T Racing over the years, and we are very good friends. And they always say what they notice with my times is that I'm incredibly consistent and tend to be quite fast. Could be faster, but consistent nonetheless. So that's what we're doing here, is these two having a bit of a tussle, heading into the final corner. Not sure what that's about. So here we go. I think this is the ultimate fastest lap of the session. So breaking into turn 1, do we make our apex? Yes, we do. Lovely little bit of apex there. Use the runoff, back on the power as early as possible, and now up to turn 2. Get it flicked in. Little bit of lift and braking, and then back on the power. A little bit later than previous laps, but I think that's because we've taken a much better line through turn 2, should have said. But we just missed the apex at turn 4. I'll come on to that in just a second, but again, flat through the first flat out left-hander, then flat through the right-hander, brake on the brow of the hill, clip your curb through there and get it nice and straight on exit of that corner, heading up now to the penultimate hairpin, using the penultimate flag, as we also just missed the apex as well. In fact, we didn't miss it, we could have parked another car in there. That's how far away we were from the apex. We're going to come through the final corner, keep it pinned, and cross the line. So that was the fastest lap, my fastest lap of the session. I'll just tell you what it was. It was a 53.389. For reference, pole was a 52.774. So we're about 6 tenths away from the ultimate pace, which is, for me, is actually quite good. I tend to be, that's probably me at like running at sort of my best in comparison to the rest of the field. I tend to be about 8 tenths on average at a track that I'm sort of like vanilla at. So like a track like Ellough or Bayford or Rye, I'm normally about 8 tenths away from the ultimate pace, because I'm a heavy lad, and I'm probably not the fastest in the world. But we're just doing what is the penultimate lap of the sessions. Now we're coming on to the final lap, and now I'm going to talk you through this one, because this would have been a much faster lap. You can see getting the apex lovely there, just using a bit of the runoff as well to carry the speed, going through turn 2, bit of speed through there, and then back on the power through turn 3. It's all shaping up quite nicely, and this is where we lost time on the on what was the fast lap. You can just see there, taking a much better line, clipping a bit of the curb, and getting away much better as well, running a bit on the curb now through turn 5 and just coming now through there, braking on the brow of the hill, getting nice and close to Dicky here. This is turning into a much better lap, but as you can see, I haven't been able to come all the way to the left because there was somebody on my inside. Somebody was trying to overtake me, and then they were on my right side, and the lap has been completely ruined. It has to be said there, that would have been a significantly better lap than the 53.3 that I put in. I'm fairly certain it was Mike Coppin who was doing that, who is a much faster driver than me, but I question why he was trying to overtake when it was just going to ruin both of our laps. But there we go. I mean, I've no idea that he's behind me, so there we go. But yeah, ultimately, I can just get my mouse to work because it's a bastard at the moment. So yeah, so obviously, something I haven't mentioned, 3 classes in the endurances, Premier, Clubman and Inters. We are obviously racing in the Inters. So that lap, that 53.3, put us in 23rd place overall as we just got hop on board now with Jasper ready to start this race. So we're 23rd overall and about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we were 6th in class. J2D2 were by far and away the leaders of the session. They qualified in 6th with a 52.9, so a good 4 attempts up on what I had managed in my qualifying effort. So that's where we are, 6th in class, 23rd. Now you might think that qualifying is not very good. In fact, you would be correct in thinking that like 23rd, 37 odd car grid. It's not ideal. It's not great on paper. However, what you have to consider is that we have regularly qualified in the midfield, maybe sort of sometimes in the higher midfield, sometimes in the lower midfield. But we always come through. We're always knocking around that top 10 by the end. That's why we're doing so well this year. As Jasper just getting himself into position now, just getting in front of. I think there was Richard Newton on the left there, and Simon Pugh for their team. Just going to find out where. We'll try and make sure I remember. Yeah, Slow Coach Racing is Simon and Adam's team. Simon and Adam were both doing the SP60 lightweight in the afternoon. They were missing their third teammate as well. Just in front of this chap in the white helmet, you can see that's Yusuf bin Sahel. What's his name? Creamy Cereal, Milky Cereal, I think is his online persona. Chap I did commentary with back at the end of my BUKC tenure. Good guy, nice guy. Great guy. You're gonna love it. So yeah, 23rd place. A lot of drivers, a lot of teams actually they changed their cars. Notably, Titan, I think Dickie Allen did that for his team. Are we about to get this race underway? Let's just wait. I think we do go round for one more. No, it is like we are now racing, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go then. What kind of start can Jasper do? Well, he's immediately going to the inside line. Oh, a lot of bit of contact there as the chap in the white helmet just turned into turn 1. But Jasper hasn't lost any positions, which is key in this start. So it's all going well so far. Jasper's first start of the season, it has to be said, I take that back. It's his second start of the season. He just overtakes that chap who was on the grass. But it looks like that chap just getting down the inside. But now Jasper able to get a better drive out of the second out of turn 4, and it looks like he's got an inside line coming down the brow on Yusuf. Is he going to be able to do anything? Oh, it looks like it's close. Jasper, has he got the move done? He's certainly sticking to the right hand side, implying that Yusuf is still there, but we can't see him at the moment. So I think Jasper did get Yusuf on that one. Yusuf racing in the intermediate class as well, so that was a crucial move in the context of the result of this race. And now it looks like he's got a decent run on this chap in the white helmet as well, who's being overtaken around the outside, but also Jasper getting 2 for the price of 1, so a fantastic move there from Jasper. Looks like he's picked up about 4 or 5 places on that opening lap, following this chap in front through. That is Brilio. I know for a fact now that is Brilio in front of us, our main championship rivals for the year. So if he can get past them, that would be great. Brilio do have one. Both drivers are very, very good, but I feel that one of them is a little bit better than the other, and that is not the chap who is in the kart at the moment. So we'll take stock for the moment. Jasper, I think, up into probably about 16th, because there were drivers in front of us who changed their karts. We probably didn't quite start in 23rd in the end, but that is sort of that's certainly the opening laps done well. Well done, Jasper. Heading through, getting a good start. No incidents, nothing of note. There was that little bit of contact right at the beginning, but that I'm gonna use this phrase for the first time today. Bit of a turn-in Terry, I found, from my perspective at least. I don't know if I'm being biased because it's my guy that I'm commentating on. But yeah, I thought I felt a bit of a turn in Terry there at the start. But it is the start. We're not gonna get too. Let's not get bogged down on who was a turn in Terry and who wasn't. So you just saw there. I think that was Conman Racing as Jasper overtakes that chap on the exit of the Brow hairpin. Lovely little move there. But I think so. The pit window will now be open. So a couple of teams will be boxing early to get out of the melee and now try and set about going as fast as they can, letting everyone else sort themselves out. Interesting tactics here. In terms of the tactics that me and Jasper were implementing, I told Jasper that if you are in traffic, if you are fighting, I think you should pit. So we will see how that goes. At the moment he is in a bit of traffic, but it is still early on in the race. We have got a decent amount of fuel on board. We fueled up when Jasper came in after his practice. It looks like Brilio with a little bit of a poor exit there out of turn 4, but Jasper trying to go down the inside of turn 5, and that was possibly a foolish pursuit because there was no way that was going to work at that high speed. So Jasper now continuing to march on through this lap, not losing any positions so far. We're just coming through now to complete. I think that was about, what were we going to say? I'm going to say that was lap 4 of this race. So Jasper again probably moving up the grid through the pit stops, overtaking a couple of people here and there, getting close to the back of Brilio, but you've got to be careful of the threat from behind us. Oh, did Brilio just lose a little bit of speed there on the exit of turn 3? I think they might have done. Jasper not quite close enough out of turn 4 this time, as Brilio just taking a little bit of a defensive line, but then moving back over to take the traditional racing line through turns 5 and 6. But Jasper going to send it down the inside of the Brow hairpin. That was a fantastic move. Did not see that one come. He's got to go defensive now into what will be this be a turn. I say it's the penultimate hairpin. Call it that from now on, Johners. But yeah, going really well as Jasper. Fantastic move, but he was definitely taking some defensive lines through these corners. It's such a shame we've lost the helmet cam perspective, so we can't quite see what's going on around us. But yeah, Jasper getting the move done, moving up into, I think he must be about second in class, third in class at the moment. So again, as I said just before the start of this race, the thing about the Three Swans, we might not quite. Oh, actually, hang on. I'll come back to that in a second. As now there go Titan, who were at the back of the grid, and Jasper now it looks like he might just be able to follow Brilio through into turn 5, but no, he's got the outside line now for the Brow, for turn 6, then for the Brow hairpin. So Brilio able to stay in front for the moment, but Jasper having a really good look up the arse of Brilio, who go defensive into the penultimate hairpin. Now Jasper doing to Brilio what I think Brilio were doing to him at the end of the last lap. So has Jasper got the legs down straight? Oh, he is taking an awful lot more speed down the pit straight. Down Brilliant. It looks like, is he going to get the cut back up towards turn 2? It looks like for the moment he may have very well got the move done. Very difficult move to hang around the outside, and it looks like Jasper has indeed got that move done. Probably still having to defend from Brilio around the outside. In fact, there they go, Brilio able to keep with it, and this is an important battle. It's probably not a good idea to be fighting too much at the start of an endurance race, because ultimately it doesn't matter what happens on lap 1 or in the opening 5 minutes of an endurance race. It matters what happens in the final 5 minutes of an endurance race. But this is for championship positions. We've just overtaken this chap who's just pitted, or maybe had a black flag or something. I would not be able to tell you, but now you can see the Brillo car just a little bit too slow down the straight, and Jasper now with the inside line, no defensive move made by the Brillo team. Probably going to try something on the switchback out of turn 1, but it looks like for the moment Jasper has now got that position done. Some brilliant racing for all this, and I forgot to mention as well that watching on from the sidelines, Yusuf was heavily involved in this fight as well. He was lurking in the wings everywhere, but just not quite able to overtake Jasper at the moment. We'll come back to you on that one if he is able to overtake Jasper, but if not, I'll come on to our dear Yusuf in just a second. Little water break there. It's important when you're commentating on races like these that are so long, or you've just got a massive day of commentary or a massive session of commentary lined up. Just make sure you keep hydrated, keep that throat going. Don't take too much out right at the start. Any budding commentators watching this race, anyone who's decided to still be watching there, if you are ever going to do your own bit of commentary, just make sure you've got a lot of water and don't talk too much, too loudly, too quickly right at the start of the day, because you're going to need your voice for the entire day. That's something I learned at Wilton Mill this year for one of the rounds of WMKC. But coming back to this race then, so it looks like at the moment Jasper's definitive move down to turn 1 on the previous lap on Brillo has seemed to have done the business. You can see now he's beginning to catch this pack of about 3 carts in front. So I could not tell you where a second or where the next intermediate is. All I know is that J2D2 were still leading at this point of the race. They were going great guns. They had some fantastic pace. Again, the fact that to put it at P6, Jasper did say to me he reckoned that there were a couple of teams running Ellough specialists, and I think J2D2 were one of those teams. In fact, I'm just going to find out. I'll remind myself the name of the chap who was racing for J2D2. He wasn't out in this section of the race. Craig McAllister was the driver racing for J2D2. I'll come on to him during my bit because he's not out there. He's out in my race, and we will stick around for that bit. But yeah, as I was saying, Jasper coming onto the back of this gaggle of about 3 cars. You can just see just gaining a little bit of time here and there on this chap. Now you can see, certainly on my little screen that I'm watching on here, gaining on this guy in the white helmet, and I think that's still Titan, just passing those couple of guys in front. You can see what Jasper can do at this stage, racing very well. Again, no mistakes, nothing of the sort. So just going great guns, it has to be said. At the moment, gaining quite nicely as that car he's way much more of the track than he actually needed to, and I think Jasper could have this move done within the next couple of corners. Doesn't want to take too much of a risk as he takes the inside. That was very nearly a bit of an opportunistic risk there from Jasper. He tried to send down the inside where there was just no space at all, and that has meant that he's lost a bit of time to this guy coming down the main straight. So at this point, as this chap now going defensive for no apparent reason, because Jasper's nowhere near him, and in fact Jasper nearly going down the inside. A lot of nearlies here from Jasper, almost half-assed moves, but I think he's realising the move isn't quite on. So he's got to get this guy out of the way, because I think at this point Yusuf had pitted. Now the story behind that is that at the round at Lid, Yusuf's first round of the year, me and him were racing hard, and I put in one of my moves of the year as Jasper, I think, now finally going to get this guy out of the way. Looks like that guy's probably hanging it round the outside. In fact, there he is, but he's going to be massively compromised on the exit of the penultimate corner, and Jasper looks like it's got good speed at this track. Looks like he should have the move done into turn 1, and in fact there we go. The fact he was able to take the apex shows that he had the move done. But yeah, so coming back to it, so Yusuf pitted early, and that was because so when at Lid, me and him were having a really good battle, putting a fantastic move in on him, and fighting so much, so I decided to pit early, and that was, as it turned out, a stroke of genius, because a couple of laps later when Yusuf pitted, I was an entire straight in front of him, so it really worked, got into some clean air, and it's the tactic that I would deploy certainly in this scenario. And so I was on the sidelines watching on, almost willing Jasper to pit, box, pit. You're losing time, and Yusuf's pitted. Brilio is still behind you. Pit, man, pit. But he didn't. Jasper would keep going, and will keep going for quite a significant amount of time more. And again, it's something I will talk about when we get to that moment. But yeah, again, good little moves here from Jasper, just racing really solidly in this opening stint. And just going about his business. This is the thing with endurance racing. When you're in this position, you've just got to go about your business and keep it nice and consistent, and not make any mistakes. And then when you are going to overtake, make sure it's definitive and make sure you don't lose too much time, because again, it's a time race. This sprint races, SP60, that's all about making up as much. Like if you haven't had a good qualifying, it's all about being aggressive and trying to make up as many positions as you possibly can and getting as many overtakes in as you can. Endurance racing is not the same, and that's when once again I come to my friend Yusuf. Yusuf is, I can say, if you are watching this at this moment, Yusuf, let me know if you completely disagree with what I'm saying. But Yusuf, for me, he's a sprint racer. He's aggressive, and that can let him down. And that certainly let him down here after he pitted, because he employed my tactic based on what I had done. As that chap there just pits. Based on what I had done at Lid, thinking it would work, and it possibly would have done had he not come out right behind a guy that he ended up racing way too hard, and so he pitted just behind Jasper, and by the time Jasper pits, he is so far behind, a bit like this guy in the Union Jack helmet is about to be behind Jasper. Jasper going absolutely great guns at the moment, and just extending it out. And by this point in the race, again, I'm not entirely sure how long we have been going for here. I think it's been about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer through the race. But yeah, again, Jasper staying out meant that he was rising up the grid, and we just kept rising. It was getting to the point where pretty soon Anwar, who was leading the race from Titan, who again started at the back, no idea. I don't understand how they do it. But yeah, it got to the point where you could see Anwar, Titan, Jasper. It was absolutely fantastic, and where I had been sort of willing him to pit, it became very apparent that going long was a much better strategy than going short, which is what J2D2 did. I've just suddenly remembered how this went. So J2D2 pitted really early, probably within the first 5 minutes, which I thought was interesting, but it can make sense. Get out again. Get out of the pack. Get out of the any potential for disaster, and you'll end up having a much better time of it. And certainly through this opening stint, it was working, because I was looking at the times. I could see that, certainly looking at where they were on the track, it looked like they would then jump us once we pitted, but it certainly definitely looked like it was becoming very obvious that we were going to stay in front of Brilio and Yusuf, who his team is called Wait, This Isn't a Sim Rig, because I think Yusuf does a lot of sim commentary and does a lot of simming himself. simulator racing, not that game where the people don't actually speak words. Sims, I believe the mobile application game is called. But the video is coming up to about 40 minutes in. I think we are getting close now to Jasper's first stop. He has to stop before the 20-minute mark. If you are watching at this stage and you're not entirely sure, and you have no idea about the pit windows for the Club 100 Endurance, allow me to explain off the top of my head. I should know them off by heart. But yeah, it is. So pit window 1 is from 2 minutes until 20 minutes. So that's why you see some of those guys pitting really early, but not immediately, not on the first lap, because I think that would be carnage. Then there's a 5-minute gap where the pit window is closed. Then it's 25 to 45. Then another 5-minute window of closure. Then it's 50 to 110. For us, that will involve the driver swap, which I will come on to at some point as well. Then another little gap. Then it's 1:15 to 1:35. Another 5-minute gap, and the final window is 1:40 to 1:55. And then it's the final 5 minutes. Obviously, the window is shut, so you've got until 1 hour and 55 minutes to pit. And I know for a fact that I think it was Team Muttley at Lid forgot to pit during that final window, and whilst they were given the podium on the day, they were given the trophy, the results showed that they had a lap deducted or something of the sort. Apologies if you just heard me swigging a bit of water, but again, as I've been saying, but make sure you don't lose your voice too early, and I can feel it just going slightly. When you have been talking for this amount of time, you can go. There was a man in a high visibility jacket there. Not sure what he was doing. Or I wonder if that was a cart that. Do you know what? I feel like there was a cart that broke down during this race and had to be pushed back, and I think that might have been it. Jasper is pitting. Ladies and gentlemen, Jasper is pitting. You're about to see a pit stop. So at this point, we were leading. Titan pitted, we were second. Anwar pitted, we were leading. There's my ugly mug, acting as the pit trap. Oh, that was lovely. That was sort of like a Top Gear moment. Me and Jasper, big fans of Top Gear, and very happy to see the big guys return to the BBC iPlayer recently with all of the original episodes. That's no sponsorship intended there, but yeah, was really happy to find that out. So yeah, so Jasper's pitted. Absolutely fantastic opening stint from the man from Lincoln. Yeah, what more can you say about that? He came in leading the race, and I think came out, firmly. Yeah, there we go. It's Nick. Yeah, I knew a cart had broken down. It's Nicky being pushed back. I can't remember if it was an actual team who had broken down, if it was the cart that Nicky was testing had broken down. But yeah, it took him a while to get pushed back. But yeah, brilliant stint from Jasper. Pitted in the lead and came out just behind. That is J2D2 in front. Not sure if you can quite see it on your footage, but it's the chap in the Scottish in the Scottish flag. They're racing for J2D2. I'm not gonna. No, we're not gonna try and carry on with that. But yeah, so second in class, and I think well within the top 10 at this stage, if not maybe just outside. But we were going so great guns. It was going absolutely fantastic, and I think now what we're going to see is obviously, so we're now entering the second stint of the race. Obviously we've got the second window opening. The first window is going to be closing in a couple of minutes, and then the second window will open 5 minutes later. So yeah, firmly the second stint of the race. So Jasper's actually timed his pit stop to bloody perfection. It wasn't a long stop. We were looking at I think we were looking at sort of a 74 second lap time when we pitted. Obviously, an average lap round here is 53, low 53, high 59, particularly for us. So, yeah, so at about a 20-second pit stop. So went all very well as JTD2 have overtaken this guy here. Not sure if this is a lapping situation, an overtaking situation, or this guy just hasn't pitted yet. We'll find out in just a moment. No, it looks like this guy is either, yeah, again, we're overtaking him or we're lapping him. One of the two. Let's not get bogged down by which one we're doing. Jasper just losing a little bit of time there on the exit of the brow on the brow hairpin. He definitely gained time on JTD2 as JTD2 was trying to overtake this chap in the Black Monster helmet, but Jasper now probably gaining some of that time back are JTD2 because Jasper's not quite able to get past. Although is he going to have a little look here? Ooh, no, not quite, but he's just taking a slightly wider line through here and he's going to get a nice exit out of turn 3 and surely down the inside into turn 4. The chap had a think about being a turn in Terry, but Jasper decided against it, and Jasper now moving further up the grid. Or rather, lapping him. One of the two. Either way, getting closer to JTD2, which is the ultimate aim. You can see, yeah, he has definitely lost more time. He's definitely further back from JTD2 than when he came out of the pits. So as we just start another lap. So yeah, coming back on to Jasper's strategy through his first stint for his part of the race. So pitting on 15 minutes meant that he had to take on a little bit more fuel than other teams would have. What that means is it gives him so much more freedom as to when to choose to pit for the next stint. He could pit early and then, or he could, in fact, to be honest, he can pit in the middle of the stint or whenever he really feels like it, and we will probably not lose that much time in the slightest. So really good strategy from him here, looking like it's all going to work well. And again, based on where we were in front of Clubman teams, we were in front of I think we were definitely in front of Applewood at this point, one of the Clubman teams. I knew that because obviously that it was Alex Pritchard driving around in his remarkable get up. So yeah, I was very much keeping an eye on that. Any opportunity to beat Mr. Pritchard would always be welcomed, but so at this stage was very, very happy. I'm rambling at the moment. I'm filling because as you can see, there's not a lot happening. But yeah, going really well for now. Just settling into it. Let's have a look at his line, shall we? In fact, let's wait for the next lap to take you on one of Jasper's laps and see how much better or worse it looks than the qualifying lap that I put in, or rather, let's say what the qualifying lap should have been had Mike Coppin not got in Mike Coppin way. So here we go then, coming onto the pit straight and crossing the line to start a new lap of this Ellough Park circuit, braking just after the double white chevron, probably just missing the apex slightly there, using a bit more runoff than necessary, losing a bit of time through turn 1, coming now through turn 2, taking it almost flat, I think, through there, braking into turn 3 and then getting on the power just at the apex, brake as the red bit comes up on you for turn 4, run out as wide as you can, use the exit as you run up towards the flat out turn 5, you can run your wheels over the curb there, use the curb on for the right-hander, and Jasper braking just on the down bit of the brow into the brow hairpin, and he gets a lovely little exit out of the brow hairpin using, I think he was using the penultimate flag there right on it for the penultimate hairpin, getting the apex lovely, using the curb lovely, making sure not to run over the white line there. I haven't mentioned this so far. The white line was on the exit of the final corner was the main point for track limits. I think it was the only point for track limits, I want to say that, but either way, I think the exit of turn 3 might have also been an area for track limits, and maybe as well the exit of turn 5. I'm fairly certain that as well the down here for for the brow hairpin, that was also a big track limits area, and so this bit wasn't an area for track limits. The entry into the penultimate hairpin, but when we started the day, it was a massive puddle. It was full of water, and we all sort of looked at that and thought, well, somebody's going in there. Get your plastic boat out, your Playmobil boat out, and a pair of what are they called? Flotation devices as well. Annoyingly though, Ellough Park is it's a very interesting place, this, because effectively it's in the middle of nowhere. It's in a field in Suffolk, basically. You've obviously got Ipswich just down the road. The less said about Ipswich, the better. I might tell that story at some point during this race. And also you've got Norwich just up from that. Big up Norwich. Never been there, but a lot better than Ipswich. But yeah, so it's a very interesting place. You would not expect there to be sort of effectively a state-of-the-art kart circuit in the middle of this field, but it was there, and it also had it's the white vehicle just before the finish line. It was a water remover. It came and got rid of the water. So on the one hand, it was like, oh, thank God the water's gone. There's no risk of me getting absolutely drenched. On the other hand, it's like, oh, there's a bit of a risk factor taken out of it. Remember when Top Gear came back after Clarkson had punched Oyston Timon, and it was Chris Evans, and the new star in a reasonably priced car was a star in a rallycross car, and they made a massive big thing of the fact that they had to drive through some water and also do a jump. So I don't know why that's just sort of that's what came to mind when I thought of sort of the peril of there being a big thing of water on the entry into one of the corners. But Jasper now overtaken this chap. Not sure if it's for position, but I'm fairly certain at this stage now it would be a lapping situation. Should have probably put a timer on this race, to be honest, but that could have been interesting, to be honest. But it would have actually possibly been a lot more helpful. What I could do, if I was smart, is I could pause the video at this stage, put a timer on, and actually, Jasper having to defend someone trying to go down his inside. What manner of person could be trying to overtake Jasper at this stage? Peter Quill, you devil! What manner of thing are you doing, trying to overtake Jasper? That's just not allowed. We'll see how this goes. Might inject a bit of excitement into this stage of the race. J2D2 have just sort of taken off a little bit towards, you can see they're just going out of hairpin one of turn 1 as Jasper heading through turn 1, or coming into turn 1. But yeah, as I was saying, what I could do if I was very smart would be to edit and put a timer in, and so I could tell you exactly where we are in the race. And I'm sort of wondering why I'm not doing that. Probably because it will take a little bit of time, and I'm a lazy sod, and I just can't be bothered. But yeah, anyway, let's carry on, shall we? Oh, would you look at that? There's now a timer there. I suddenly realised, you know what? There is really no reason. It can't take that long, can it? Surely. That took me about 10 minutes to do. So I've lost precious time, and my girlfriend is now going to be still waiting for me to go round to hers. So, but anyway, we have got a timer, and we can now see at what point we are in the race. So we're half an hour in. We're a quarter of the way through the race. So again, Jasper pitted at about, where am I going to say he pitted? I think he pitted about sort of just beyond 15 minutes in. So the pit window is open. We've got another 15 minutes with the pit window to be open. And again, as I've been saying, Jasper can effectively pick when he wants to pit. Because he's got a decent amount of fuel in. The stop won't take that long because he went so long. Because he went long at the start. The stop won't take that long at all. So yeah, it's really up to him when he chooses to pit. If it were me, if I were out there, I would be looking at sort of the 37 odd minute to pit. I'll be mindful of what J2D2 are doing, but I wouldn't let it dictate what I do, because being in Jasper's shoes, he has no idea what's gone on in the race so far because we don't use radios. I can't tell him that J2D2 pitted really early and are going to have a long second stop, a much longer one than we will have because we have to take on less fuel. So that's something to bear in mind. That's why at this stage I was like, we're only just behind them. We are only just behind them, and they had a very short pit stop. They pitted very early, and they're going long. They are going to be using a lot of fuel. So, in effect, they're always going to have a much longer stop than us. So, I mean, just keep doing your thing, Jasper, and wait to see what they do. But I know that we don't like to run it too close to the 45-minute mark on this occasion. Normally, what happens is during this stage of the race, there would be a driver swap. Jasper was telling me, because Jasper was also doing the SB60 in the afternoon, of me, Adam, Jasper and Simon, I was the only one not doing the SB60, and normally it's the other way around, where I'm the only one doing the SB60 and Adam and Simon stay to watch me, and then if Tom's with me, he has to wait for me to finish that, because normally I'm giving him lifts up and down the country. But on this occasion, no Tom, and it's literally like, once I'm done, I'm off. Yeah, really interesting one. But yeah, so Jasper was basically saying, so coming back to it, I went off on a tangent there. But yeah, coming back to what I was saying, was that Jasper, doing the SB6 in the afternoon, was mindful that around the hour mark will be when driver changes happen, and that brings me on to what I was saying about the 40-minute mark. So normally at this stage, the first driver out is aware that they are pitting on the 40-minute mark to hand over to the next driver, so that we could all get our minutes in and make sure that it was a day, it was worth it, effectively. So yeah, but on this occasion, Jasper now he has free reign of when to pit, and he'll be wanting to avoid that 40-minute mark, because that's when the teams that have free drivers will be making their pits to change over drivers, and they'll be taking a lot longer, and then he'll also be wanting to avoid the hour mark, because that's when the drivers like us, who are running with two drivers, or the teams running with two drivers, will be pitting to do their driver changes. So he was saying to me, I'm probably going to pit a little bit earlier than the hour mark, because obviously you've got my SB60 in the afternoon, and then that way we can miss that sort of crunch hour mode mark, and then you can get out. So then, yeah, happy days. So yeah, we're just going to see then really what Jasper does. But again, with the long stint and the not so long pit stop, we are in a good position. There is nothing else you can say about that. So I've just finished my first bottle of water, and I'm going to transition on to the next one. I'm not even an hour in. Hours worth of commentary, ladies and gentlemen. Even when like my old videos from like 4 years ago, when I was first starting to do them for Swansea, which were like 40 odd minutes long, never ever did a commentary for a video like this before for this amount of time. So I'm just going to give myself a little, if you can hear that, a little pat on the back for being just a great ambassador for the commentating community, and just a general all-round great guy. God, I'm great. Sorry, I just got a moment of self-centeredness once again. But yeah, at the moment, again, Jasper just going about his business, putting in some great lap times, keeping nice and consistent, no mistakes, no awkward battles. There was that one awkward battle at the beginning of his first stint of this stint, which made him lose a bit of time to J2D2. But as you can see, just that J2D2 haven't run away. They're still there, and we've now got this chap in the one of the most recognisable colour combination suits in Club 100. I think that's an OMP. It's white and black. It's not very imaginative, and for me, good sir. Oh, actually, you've got quite a nice. That's a nice helmet right there. It's a little bit of a yellow in there. So I'll actually, you know what? I'll bump your look up from a 2. So I'm gonna give you a 5 for that one, because the yellow helmet brings a nice extra touch to it, but the black and white suit, the OMP, I'm fairly certain that is. It's just not very imaginative. It's one that everyone has, unfortunately. In fact, you know what? I think this is the Peterborough team. I think that's their name. They put it on pole for the round at Lid. I was a bit wary of them coming into this one. So I was saying before to Jasper in the build-up to this race, I thought, like, we'll see how this one goes, because I think there are a number of teams. Or certainly we'll see how qualifying goes, because there are a number of teams that are probably going to be quicker than us. So there's Jasper now getting the... actually, no, not quite. And we're losing a little bit of time here, but he has, at the very least, got the inside line down into the penultimate hairpin. So not losing too much time, but losing more time than I'm sure he would have liked in the pursuit of JTDT. But again, this is where I really wish we used radios, and I'm asking myself, why don't we use radios? Because we could become such a better team. And as and when me, Tom and Jasper, we've just passed the hour mark for the video, massive thank you if you are still watching, if you have been watching for the entirety of this video. If you have been, you're made of different stuff. You're clearly very dedicated to the Rich T racing cause, or you do just love watching racing, or one of the two. Would be a very good video to watch, I think, if you've, like, on a Saturday morning where you're not having to go to work and you can just have a nice cup of tea in bed, and you've just got some racing to watch. But yeah, we don't use radios, and I think as and when I'm not sure certainly what I'm going to be doing next year, karting wise, because I do endurances in the morning and SB60 in the afternoon. I think this is the only year for the moment, whilst I'm on the work and have the working conditions that I do. It's the only time that I'll be able to really afford to do this type of racing. So next year, I'm not entirely sure. I personally get a little bit more involvement, or certainly a bit more satisfaction from the SB60 and the endurances, because I find, certainly through doing this race, when I had to go home in the afternoon, it was sort of like, well, I'm leaving now, and like, I've done an hour's racing, I want to do more, but I feel like, it's just going to have to negotiate this chap just coming out. That's Anwar. So Anwar, who was, I believe, the race leader, or certainly up there, just pitting and just coming out now in front of Jasper. So again, that shows what a fantastic job Jasper has been doing. The fact that the race leader at this stage of the race has only just come out in front of him, and Jasper can now sit behind Anwar and just follow his lines, because you have that thing in karting and racing where when you're sat behind someone, you follow their lines, you sort of brake where they brake, and if you, let's say you're struggling, if you get a driver of Anwar's class in front of you, you can try and stick with them, and then that's where you find yourself going faster. Eventually, when you lose them, you go back to sort of how you are as racer. But I always find that when you're racing directly behind someone, you're effectively racing like that person. So it's a good thing then that Jasper has come out behind. Anwar came out just in front even of Jasper. But yeah, coming back to what I was rambling on about with radios and stuff, and then going off on tangent. I think we would be a much better team and a much more coherent and, like, together, not together, but certainly, like, just run and be able to conduct our race days a bit better if we had radios to use, because we could give each other so much more information. And I think as and when we do race together again, we'll probably be in the clubman class, because we are of clubman standard. We, like, our first race at Clay, we would have won the clubmans as well as winning the inters, of course. 40 minutes into this race, Jasper, I think, will be thinking of pitting very soon. In fact, he might have just driven over to the left a bit more as that chap just comes out of the pits. Might just have driven over a bit more left, bit more over to the left to give me the super secret special signal to say he's coming in. He basically just sort of gives a little tap to his helmet to say, I'm coming in. But yeah, I reckon we'll just be a much more complete team with radios. We can say what's going on in the context of the race, and that can help to inform our strategy. But I reckon when we next race together, when we race in the clubman class, that will be at the time to use radios. Tom is firmly of the opinion that our pit stops are fine. We've got a good system this year. Let's not change anything. And also, let's not spend an extra 70 quid on a 4-pack of radios. This is a bit of a madness. I mean, like, Jasper is keeping up with Anwar. In fact, is keeping on his tail. Now, whether that's Jasper doing brilliantly or Anwar struggling a bit, maybe if Anwar's car's not as good, or because Anwar's got significantly more fuel on board, shall remain to be seen. But the fact is, at the moment, Jasper's keeping up with Anwar Beryl-Smith, one of, if not the fastest drivers in the Club 100 series, certainly one of the fastest heavyweight drivers in the competition. So Jasper doing absolutely fantastic. And something else you have to bear in mind, Jasper races with a lot of extra lead as well. And when he's 79 kg at the moment, start of the year he was 76, so he has been racing with lead all year. And his first SP60 race at Buckmore back in October, I think it was, he raced without lead and realised just how much more stable and controlled the car was. So he was having a much better time. He was racing really well in the SP60 at Buckmore. He was broken, but he was racing really seriously well. Top 6, I think, he was in for the majority of the 2 races. So yeah, the fact that he's now keeping up with Anwar, who won't be running with any lead, just shows how well he is running. It just has to be said. It's just a fantastic opening couple of stints from Jasper. I really hope I have got the Rich T timer done correctly, because it is getting very close to when he's pitting. Is he going to be pitting? No, he's not yet. JT2 must be still be going as well. So he's running it a little bit close to the wire now, is our boy Jasper, as we now get past these guys. Jasper probably keeping an eye out as well on the... in fact, that could be what's going on at the moment. Jasper keeping an eye on the pit lane, because you can do that on the run-in. You can see if there are too many people currently stopping. So he might just be extending it a little bit here. So he's got to try and get past this chap in the yellow, in sort of the tigery printed yellow and black helmet. I think JTD2 are still going. Just have a look. Yeah, I think that is them just in front of Anwar. So they're still going. So if we're doing a long stint, oh my word, have JTD2 done a long stint? Again, they pitted within the first 5 minutes, and we're coming up to the pit window shutting. As now, finally, thank the maker, Jasper comes in for his second stop of the day. Me acting as the human pit jack. Bit of information there, and I suppose I can see where Tom's coming from. That sort of minimal information that we give works. It has to be said. Like that's what you need to know. That's sort of technically that is all he needed to know. But there's just so much more you could say. Could it be a distraction? I don't know. But Jasper's come out behind Conman Racing, who are a Clubman team, a team that we beat again in our opening race this year, which was just, words cannot describe how good our first race was in the endurance series this year, as Conman going down the inside of this guy in the sort of bluey black helmet, and Jasper following suit. So again, Jasper not racing this guy for class position, but I think will be racing for track position. The way that the point scoring works in endurance is it works based on where you finish in your class. So it doesn't have to overtake this guy, but it would probably benefit him if he did. But anyway, glossing over that for a second, J2D2 have pitted. There is, unless I've got the Rich T timer slightly wrong, there is the pit window now closed. So J2D2 will have pitted on that lap, and they were stopped for a long time, a long periodically time. As Jasper now having a look, he's going to get Conman into turn 2. He's having to think about it. Conman hanging around the outside, but that's never going to work. And Jasper getting the move done. So well done, that man, moving further up the grid. And now I'm fairly certain leading the intermediate class with J2D2's long stop. So all going marvellously well at this stage. Great potential for me a second winner's trophy at Ellough Park. I've got a lovely glass steering wheel was the trophies back in 2017. At the moment they are the standard. They're I was going to say they're just sort of standard trophies, but they're lovely things. And hopefully taking another big one home. My first winners in trophy for the endurances, because the way we work it is that we have a system. Jasper took the first trophy at Clay. Tom took the next one at Lid. At Wilton, and I took the next one at Lid, and then it's a rinse, rave, repeat type situation. So I'd be going home with this. I'd be going home with this one, and was really hoping that I could have the winner's trophy from Ellough 4 years ago sat on my desk at work with my winner's trophy from Ellough at this event. So it's going well at the moment, but we have got to be wary. Still, we're not even at half distance for this race, and I've got to go out, and I don't know what my pace is going to be like compared to Jasper's. We're really just going to have to wait and see. I think Jasper was banging in low 53s, high 59s, high 52s during his stint, so going on very good pace. I think the pace did ultimately increase through the for the race. And just have a look at it now. So the fastest lap improved by 0.2 of a second to a 52.5, which was set by, you guessed it, Titan. And I have don't think it's ruining too much to say that Jasper set the fastest lap. He was a 52.9, and I think I was still down in sort of the 53.2 region. Jasper now overtaking this chap with H3 Indy on the back of his suit, and actually that chap showing to Conman what you can do around the outside of turn 3, holding on to his position very nicely there, has to be said. And I know for a fact that this is Richard Newton's team. Richard Newton, my championship rival in the SHW's SP60 championship. This was their team, and we'll be coming onto them later, as Jasper now does go down the inside. But yeah, good little move there from Jasper. I had to get through him because that guy it definitely does have pace, but was just losing it a little bit here and there. So good little move for Jasper to have got done. And you can see there a little bit more traffic through his third and final stint in this race. Jasper will be relinquishing control to me at the next stop, and oh my god, am I going to tell you a thing or two about the next stop? But for now, Jasper, everything's fine. Everything's fine for the moment. He's just got to get past Tim Randall here. Bowser, was he going to have a little look at throwing a banana peel? No, not quite. And now this is it. This is a good moment for the Three Swans racing team. We have got Ragazzi Racing in front of us, Volpe, someone that Jasper gaining so much time out of the penultimate corner on to the pit straight. Basically at Clay, me and Jasper both identified that Volpe was a seriously, or Volpe, however you want to say it, but he was a seriously fast driver and one that should not be trifled with. But we trifled and we beat him. We beat Ragazzi Racing. I think they came. I want to say they came on the podium at Clay, but were miles behind us. But we both worked out that he was a very quick driver, and then we also saw at Buckmore that he was so fast. He was on the leader's pace, the Premier team's pace. So he was a real threat. It was just really unfortunate that his teammate is not quite on the same pace, and I know this is going to sound really harsh and mean what I'm about to say here, but it does sort of let Ragazzi Racing down a little bit. And and you know, you can take that how you like. You can say that I'm being a bit of an arse, and maybe I am being a bit of an arse, saying that guy's lack of pace compared to his teammate lets him down. But at the end of the day, it's the truth. It just is. Volpe was racing so well at Butmore that his pace was keeping them in it. But then the next guy would go in and just wasn't quite good enough. And we were gaining every time he was out. We were gaining like 6 tenths a lap on him. So that's something that Ragazzi Racing could potentially think about going forward. I'm surprised at how I thought Jasper was going to have him, but it looks like he got the drive he got out of the final corner, coming down to turn 1. Has he got the move done? Yes, he has. Overtaking Volpe. Wham, bam. Thank you, man, and the Shamalam. All that good stuff. So it's worth pointing out that the third window of the race has now opened. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, I think J2D2 at this stage were running a medium length stint. They were doing something very similar to us, in fact, because they only had 2 drivers. They would have been pitting around the hour mark, as we will be in the not too distant future. Drinking more and more water now. You can just see that I've been talking quite a lot and getting quite excited a bit as well. Bodes well for my 4-hour commentary at Rye House on Saturday, 2 days from when I'm recording this tonight. In fact, less than 2 days, about a day and a half for when I'm going to be at Rye House commentating on round number. Christ on a bike, I think it's round 6 of the RHPK. Don't quote me on that. So yeah, but again, really look forward to that. That's ultimately why I'm doing. That's really the main reason I'm doing this is sort of just to get myself back into the swing of doing a long old commentary on karting. Obviously, the Rye House Kart Club race is a 4-hour race, so it's over just less than double the length of what I'm doing right here. Because again, we're not even into an hour into this race, so it will be madness. But like again, the day will eventually end, and you will get through it. And there can be some really enjoyable racing at that track. Rye House gets a lot of stick from the Club 100 community, I find. So I personally really enjoy it. I think it's a lovely little track. Run by some lovely people. Yes, it could do with resurfacing, and yes, it is definitely an old-fashioned, very old-fashioned, with a pylon in the middle of it. But still, it's a track I do really enjoy. I do really enjoy it over there at Rye. Anyway, coming back on to where we are now. So we're coming towards the end of Jasper's stint. Again, keeping an eye out on what J2D2 were doing. Again, at this stage we were a decent amount in front of them, and it was all looking right as rain. At this point, I will be getting ready to go out for my stint. And so I mentioned that I was going to tell you about the me and Jasper turnover. I think it's about time now I start sort of giving you a couple of hints and clues as to what's going on, what will be going on. But I will just say again, Jasper just driving again so well, so beautifully. I feel like a proud dad watching him drive here. Nothing looks out of place. Nothing looks out of, like, it doesn't look like he's missing many apexes. Apart from that one, he just missed quite a bit. Certainly from the camera perspective. But yeah, no, just driving great. Really happy with how he was driving and how everything was going. But yeah, so coming up to this turnover now, in a bid to bring you all of this footage, in a bid to be able to bring this video to you, I wanted to film the entire thing. Of course I did. To do that, I had to work out what I was going to do with the GoPro, because I have it in a setting that allows 2.5 hours, just over 2.5 hours worth of footage. So I knew that I could use it for I knew that I could use it for my practice and qualifying, and then both stints. However, a GoPro battery, will not last a full 2-hour race. It will probably last about an hour and 10 minutes. So there will need to be a battery swap over at some point. Now, I wanted to make sure that as much footage as possible was going to be captured, so that I could bring everything. And in my head, you could say, well, the most logical thing to do would probably be to just not film my opening stint, and then have Jasper put the GoPro on the cart for my second stint, so I can bring in the second stint and the final stint. That would probably be the more logical thing to do. But I thought to myself, will it take that long to change a GoPro battery? And if I have the battery with me, take it out, put a new one in, close it up, off. We might lose a bit of time regardless. But I've done some practice of it at home with my gloves on, and it worked. It was fine. It was all good. Problem. Well, you'll find out what the problems were in a couple of minutes' time. I think Jasper, again, he pitted sort of around the 58-minute mark. Maybe I'm 99% certain he pitted just before the hour mark of the race. As you'll see, we'll turn the GoPro off as it comes into the pits, and then it will come on again. Probably, so I think somewhere around here. I think coming down into the first corner. So expect Jasper in anytime in the next couple of minutes. Turn the light on as well. Can't see me, but I was just recording in sort of the dark. Not quite in the dark, but it is starting to get a little bit dark out there. So I just thought I'd just put a light on, illuminate my lovely study that is in tatters because I had to work from home just after the race at Buckmore. Don't worry, I wasn't the one who got COVID, but I got pinged by the app because apparently someone in my building. Let's just wait to see Jasper coming in. No, not quite. Oh yeah, apparently around that time, Jasper. Someone in my building apparently got corona, and then everyone who had the app got pinged. Well, not everyone in my office who had the app got pinged. Some people didn't. Don't ask me how. But yeah, I had to isolate for 6 days. It was. Don't ask that. And yeah, so I had to basically take apart my desk so I could fit my monitor or my screens to the desk, and basically had to take everything off the desk to make sure it all fit on. And I just saw it. I haven't really got round to putting it all back. We are meant to be. Everyone's coming back to the office soon, so I think that will be the end of work from home. But I think enough of my work life. Let's have a look. Is Jasper going to be making his pit stop? I think he might be. Yes, here we go. So the camera's going to shut off now. And oh my god, I was talking about how simple it should have been. It was not. So first of all, what happened was, came in, there was a guy in the pits, and I thought, brilliant. That gives me a bit more time to get the clip undone and take the battery out and get battery in, etc., etc. What actually happened was I couldn't get my finger into the clip to undo it, so I had to take my glove off. Then when I pushed it, I pulled it down, pulled it up, the clip fell off, so I had to reattach that. Take the battery out, put the other battery back in. Meanwhile, Jasper's trying to push from behind to get underway. He's taken all the lead off. He's done his bit. I'm fumbling about with that, having to get my glove back on. And by the time everything was sorted, basically we were being pushed out of the way by the cart because we were fueled up. We were all done. Jasper had even been able to put the cap on, and it was like, my God, it was just awful. We lost about 14 seconds, and as you can see here, we've come out behind Hindi, or H3 Indy, Richard Newton's team, to make life a bit easier. And yeah, this is something we just really did not need. So I need to now get up to speed and sort of put that pit stop behind us. So yeah, so as I was saying through the majority of that, this is an interesting thing that's happened here, people. The timer has appeared to go a bit wrong. In fact, I'm just going to put it on pause. If my commentary goes a bit odd, do bear with me just one moment. Sorry about that, folks. Because I've never done a video like this long before, I'd forgotten to turn the Rich T timer to include hours as well as minutes. So we're now into the second hour of this race. But yeah, I've sort of lost where I was going from, so I'm just going to sort of pick up from the race. But yeah, the awfulness of the of my pit stop was just. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was really annoying. And now I've got to get past this guy who, again, hasn't quite. He's not. I'm faster than him, but he's got a decent turn of pace. Like you can see, he's getting off the final corner quite well. So this is not going to be an easy overtake, but certainly it's got. I need to try and get done as quickly as possible because J2D2 had made their pit stop. I'd identified who was in there. It was Craig. Oh, bloody hell, I've forgotten his name again. Craig McAllister? Craig McAllister is nearly... is the one who was racing for J2D2, but now we've got to try and get past this guy so that he doesn't get anywhere near us. Certainly J2D2 don't get anywhere near us over the rest of the race. So we're getting close to him. He's just taking a little bit of a shallower line. Oh my word! What was that about? That was an interesting one. We've sent it down the inside. That was a late one, and it's not gone well. I am panicking. I'm panicking now. I think I'm gonna lose my job. But I think, so this guy did actually leave a comment as we're going down the inside again. Are we going to get the move done? No, we're not. We're lunging it. We're panicking. We're being way too hasty and just not quite getting it done right. Are we going to have a look down the inside? No, we're going to think better of it. But all this is going to be doing is bringing J2D2 closer to us. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, so okay, so yeah, here he is. He's gesticulating, swearing, thinking to his pit wall basically, because he was worried that, as he said in the comment, he was worried that he was running out of fuel and no one noticed. Now, that looked like a much more definitive move down the inside into turn one, and I think I have now got it done. Just running a little bit away from the apex. Wonder if he was trying to come back down the inside there. But looks like it's going okay for the moment. Or rather, it's going better now. We're in front. We're going well. Now we've got to get the hammer down and get the pace up so that J2D2 don't get anywhere near us. Heading into the penultimate corner on this track. Looks like were we defending a little bit there? I think we are. I think we still have H3 Indy, Rich Newton's team, trying to overtake us. So we are sticking to the middle of the track. So we're definitely defending inside. Oh, we've been tapped as well. And there goes it. Yes, it is H3 Indy overtaking us. And there was also another chap going through on us as well. So basically. None of this wouldn't be happening right now if first of all if I hadn't insisted on changing the GoPro, and second of all if the stop hadn't gone so badly wrong. So there we go. It was also the fact I didn't even mention this. We didn't practice the GoPro changeover in practice, which is what I wanted to do, is because I desperately needed to go to the toilet before practice started, and I just didn't have the time to go, and I should have thought through a lot more. So many more things I could have thought through with this GoPro changeover. So really, really annoyed at myself. But the race is long. We have got time. Now, Are we going to send it down the inside into turn 2 on this guy? We had a look at it, but it didn't quite work out. We need to get past this guy, really. I've no idea. Obviously, I've no idea where J2D2 are at this stage of the race. Another little sip of water there, and just keeping the old throat going, as they say. Whoever says that, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, this is what I was saying about this guy. It's like, yeah, I am faster than him. I should be overtaking him. Look, he's just lost a little bit on the exit of the final corner, but he's also still gaining a little bit on me now. So we have got a run down towards turn 1. He's looking over his shoulder. He's not quite paying. I know that he's thinking of me. So now I've got the inside line into turn 2. Didn't quite work out. He did sort of turn in a little bit, has to be said, on me through there. But now we have got the move done. For the moment, can we make it stick? I think we can. Don't quote me on this. As I say that, he's probably going to come past me in the next corner. In fact, I think I'm now going to sort of hesitated with that one on that chap in the sort of the stripy, tigery yellow and black helmet, and sort of think about lunging it, but then decided not to. But I think we have now got past Rich Newton's team, and we can now go on to set about doing our pace and hope that Craig McAllister in the beautiful, I think he's got the orange and red RS7 Pro is his lid. So I knew that was his lid. So I was just very conscious that he might be appearing at some point. Keeping it going now for the moment. Again, just need to try and find my groove, find the form that I had at the end of qualifying, and just hope that it is enough. A little bit of, you can just hear sort of slight locking of the brakes heading into the brow hairpin, as I like to call it. You can just sort of tell, it does seem like I'm getting off the corner a little bit worse than what Jasper's doing. It seems like the car's just not quite picking up the same amount of pace. And whilst obviously I mentioned that Jasper has his lead on, that upset, the amount of lead he has on does upset the balance of the cart. He's still 10-11 kilos lighter than me, so I think it will just naturally pick up a little bit better than my one, than I would. So that's probably where I'm losing a couple of attempts to him out of these hairpins, which just don't favour the heavier driver. Long straights and slow exit corners don't favour us heavy lot. So Bayford, the next round could be another one of those tracks, or certainly the first half of the Bayford track could be one of them. And just to inform you, with the Rich T timer is obviously a little bit out, because we did lose about, I think it was an extra, so I think it was 14 seconds longer, or it might have even been longer than that, was the GoPro switchover disastrous pit stop. In fact, Craig McAllister did message me. We had a good old chat about this. I will come on to Craig McAllister in the near future. Sorry folks, I'm just informing my girlfriend that I've got about 50 minutes left of commentary to do on this. She is wondering where I am. But yes, so Craig McAllister, he did tell me roughly what the pit stop times were, because that's the sort of analysis he went into. It was a fascinating look into how much more time we lost through certainly that pit stop. No, I think I've lost it. But so we found out at some point it was 40. I think it was 14 seconds or more we lost through that. So yeah, we are losing out on time with the Richie timer. So it's not quite as accurate as you would think. It's a bit behind where we actually are in the race. So now we've got Tim Randall. Are we taking a defensive line? Is that TV license? TikTok, if you know it. Yeah, okay, I think here we go, folks. This is J2D2 now on to our case, and Craig McAllister having a right good ding-dong with us. And this is a battle for the ages, ladies and gentlemen. He is a very, very fast driver, and we are going to have to try our absolute utmost to get past him. First things first, got to get past Tim Randall. We're going to lunge on him there, and a bit like what happened at Buckmore, bit of contact made between the two of us, and now once again there's a bit of panic starting to set in. I'm like, oh god, this is the lead of the class right here. Me versus the Three Swans versus J2D2 for the lead of the intermediate class, and Craig McAllister all over the back of us. You can't see it. The angle of this camera view does not permit us to see around us exactly what's going on. Helmet cameras, internal helmet cameras, which I know exist, are banned in Club 100 Racing because that is a part of Motorsport UK. Very good reason for it is because I think it was because Michael Schumacher's helmet, when he was skiing, as a cart broken down there on the left side of the track. When Michael Schumacher had his tragic accident, is because he had a helmet mount on top of the helmet, and that created a weak spot, which meant it affected the helmet more than it could have done. Now there is Craig McAllister. He has gone down our inside defending, so that's me defending into the penultimate corner, and that means I'm going to be massively compromised on the run down towards turn 1. Craig undoubtedly going to be on my inside. We just leave enough space so that we can get through the corner together, and I'm now holding a decent line, going a little bit defensive, narrowing off the line for him into turn 2, and there you go, all round, all just forcing me off the track onto through turn 3. Interesting one, that one. Could I have tried to stay on the track? There is an argument to suggest yes, I could have done. And then I should have yielded, given the place back, or yielded and let him through. But I'm a racing driver. I'm not gonna do that sort of thing. So there was an opportunity. I decided to take to the come off the track entirely, use that bit of slip road, and join back in front. Again, make of that what you will. It did feel like at the time, it felt like that was the only option I had, as I think we're once again we've now got Craig once again on our inside heading into turn 1, but we are able to take a normal racing line through turns 2 and turn 3, which means that we are able to survive another onslaught of attacks for the moment. So he's not getting a better drive than me out of turn 4. It's here where I'm losing time. It's where I've been losing time all day. I can just not quite get that corner right. I think I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing wrong. I think particularly on that example, it looked like I was taking just a bit too much curb on the exit of the brow hairpin, and that was just allowing him to close up into the penultimate hairpin. I think for the moment we're okay. Yes, we are. So we're all right for the moment. But again, this battle is going to rumble on. We are very conscious that he is right there, and we're just trying to hang on for as long as we can. Pit window will be opening very, very soon. In fact, it has just opened officially according to the Rich T timer. But again, Rich T timer probably about a minute, maybe about a minute behind the actual time of the race. And I think will Craig be just about there? He probably will be, but to be fair, no, we are still taking the correct racing lines. Now, I'm not a driver that looks behind too often, because I think it gives the driver behind a psychological advantage that basically means they're going to overtake you. If you want to find out more about that, be sure to go and watch The Psychology of Karting, one of my favourite videos that ever to be uploaded on Rich T Racing, a chat I had with Derek and with P-Dubs. Great video that, the sort of the spin-off really from our most viewed video, Top Tips for Karting, which I wish was done with Derek and P-Dubs. Then we had a big old chat afterwards, and we have a little chat about all that stuff as well. In fact, I think I do mention it in Top Tips for Karting as well. Don't look behind, because it gives the driver behind a psychological advantage. So there is a point to what I'm saying. At this stage, particularly on the main straight, I think I was looking behind. In fact, there we go. There is that will be Craig McAllister now having a look round the outside of the final turn. It's now going defensive into turn 1 to make sure, because he definitely had a lot more pace on us through on the main straight. Now coming up into turn 2, we're going to having to come a little bit wider. Have we held on to the business so far? Yes, we have. Fantastic defensive driving from me, if I do say so myself. So we hang on to the lead of the Inters class. Not entirely sure where we are in the grand scheme of the race. I think we're sort of in and around the top 10 at the moment, but it is a really spicy battle that we are involved in at the moment with Craig McAllister and J2D2. Again, a battle that really we would just not have been involved with, certainly at this stage of the race, had the GoPro fiasco not happened. But it looks like doing a decent run. Oh no, I think he might have just been down our inside there. He might have had the line. Maybe was I a bit of a turn and Terry? I'm not entirely sure. Gave the room, no contact, but we are going a bit wider, and now Craig finally getting past me. But I have given the special secret tap on the helmet to show Jasper that I'm coming in, because I wanted to get out of this fight, get some clean air. And again, that's where me and Craig had a chat about this, the fact that they were using radios, we weren't, and that meant that he could see when I was coming in, which is another reason I think radios would be better. But here we go then, for my first stop of the race, 4th stop overall. Jasper, the human Jack, right there. Let's hear what he has to say. Again, that's where Tom has a very, very, very good point. Jasper gave me all the information that I needed, and gave me a little bit of a pep talk as well. So we're going well. And we've just got to hope now, see what J2D2 can do, how their pit stops are going to unfold. It really depends on what type of strategy they're going to be running. I've got a good view of the majority of the track, so I'll be able to see when they do come in, and hopefully they come out behind us, and then hopefully we can put in a good turn of pace. We've got a couple of guys in front of us. We're either going to have to overtake them or hope that they pit and don't hold us up too much in the grand scheme of the race. We're going to have to hope that J2D2 have problems in the pits or run into trouble as well in their opening in the opening laps of their this will be their first stint 1 pit, stint 2 pit, stint 3 pit, stint 4. I lost my count now. Let's go through this again, people. Again, not a lot of on-screen stuff happening. Hang on, this is stint 5 because I've done 4 pit stops. Yes, it's stint 5 because I've done 4 pit stops. I know what I'm doing. You've got to chill out. You'll never listen to commentary like this again. I know that the chances of people watching an hour and 43 minutes into this video is very, very slim. But if for some reason there are people watching, or if you happen to tune in this part, we just lost so much time through through the brow hairpin. Like again, it was a corner I just could not get right. We've been overtaken by that chap who's probably a faster driver than us and should probably be in front of us technically anyway. But yeah, that's what we're doing now. And I should point out as well, my sort of mentality during this race was a bit different to normal, because it was like where we were in the race, it was like we were fighting, we were in front of Premier teams, we were in front of Clubman teams. It's like, oh God knows who were on the pace of. So I was willing to pick battles with basically everyone. So when that guy gets in front of me, I was like, oh damn, let's see if we can get him back. But you can see he is pulling away from us a bit. So either yet to make a pit stop, or in fact, I think he should have made a pit stop by now. No, actually, no, sorry, the window's only just opened. I think we're defending from someone trying to come down our inside into the penultimate hairpin, or the penultimate corner, I should say. Yeah, so the pit window has only really just opened. It's closing again at the 1 hour and 35 minute mark. So again, I had a good sort of a 16, 17 minute stint. So I've got plenty of time now to run to the 1 hour 40 mark, and then pit somewhere in and around there. Just hope that this thing can go as seamlessly wrong as possible, and JTG2 can run into trouble. But one of the things that became quite apparent during the stint was that this was the stint where everything felt right. This was the stint where I feel like I found the sort of the whispered Zen moment. Happened at Clay in my second stint, which is obviously shorter because there were 3 of us. But yeah, at Clay, the first my second 20 minutes, or my second stint, was a Zen moment. Everything I did just worked. I felt it's the fastest I think I've ever felt. Where I braked perfectly, got the apex, overtook people I never thought I'd overtake. My mate Adam Pugh, who I've mentioned in this video so far a few times now actually, has always been faster than me, always by a considerable length. But towards the end of my second stint, I was catching him, gaining, and just as I knew he was coming into pit, I overtook him. And that has very rarely ever happened, as I think there is another cart broken down on the side of the track. We are getting, it's interesting, you don't often, it's rare you see Club 100 carts broken down, but obviously this is a long race, and we are at the midpoint. This is sort of like the middle race. It's an 11 race season, and this is race number 6. So wear and tear on the carts is going to begin to show its form. At the PFI special last weekend, JV did make a point to say that the carts they've been serviced, they've been on the gyroscope or whatever it's called to run the engines, so they have been given a good lick. And then he said, interestingly, he said, but do bear with us, do give us a break, sort of thing. And I think that was he was sort of possibly leaning to the fact that, particularly at a track like PFI, the engines are reaching that stage of the season where there possibly a bit of performance is being lost here and there, and a track like PFI will extenuate those performance losses. And I think me and Adam in our endurance races noticed that. I was thinking for the test day and the first race, the sprint race in the morning, that it was just because I was heavy. But no, I think it was more the fact that certainly the endurances seemed to highlight that maybe are the carts just beginning to have a little bit of wear and tear. So that might be where these breakdowns are coming from. But again, as I was saying, just feeling really positive during this stint. I think this is how Jasper must have felt during his stint, or during basically, so I say stint, his half of the race, because he was just like, I was watching through it just now. Barely anything was going wrong. Just look at that sky. Can I just still take a moment just to appreciate the sky? I started to point for the PFI special. I have now started pointing my camera further down so you can see more, just a little bit more of what's going on around, and you can see particularly what my legs and my feet are doing more. It says JV getting in the way, almost getting run over there as he rearranges a cone. JV out there doing the marshalling and observing for the race. What a man JV is. At some point, maybe the next video that comes out on this channel, I'm going to be doing a video where I basically have a chat with someone from the Club 100 community about their karting life, their karting experiences, and how they found Club 100. It's that half an hour long, and I think it's the start. It could signify the start of a brand new thing on the channel, and something that could take the channel, relatively speaking, into the stratosphere. Obviously, I'm not talking like Super GT level of subscribers and views, but certainly it could be a really big benefit to the channel, and for going forward could be fantastic. But through that, I would love to have a conversation with JV about all things Club 100, all things karting, where it started, what he thinks of it, what his emotions are going into a race weekend. Does he race? Does he do this? I have no idea. I'm sure people, if there are people within the Club 100 community who know more than I do watching at this stage, let me know in the comments. How much do you know about JV and his experience with racing and karting? I'd love to find out. I did some work last year, some translation interpreting work for a chap called Peter Clark, who said that he had worked with JV back in like the 80s, 90s, which is fantastic to find out. And like last year, going off to starting my commentating career at the BUKC rounds, I would have a chat with JV and say like, oh yeah, Peter Clark sends his regards. I had a little chat about that. It was great. And then obviously the pandemic happened, and the less said about that the better. That sort of all came to a close rather sadly. But yeah, anyway, there's my rambling done. We've just overtaken that guy around the outside. I would assume that's a guy that's just done his pit stop. It might have been a guy who was having more issues with some of the karts. But yeah, at the moment it's all going swimmingly well. This is exactly what I wanted my middle stint to be. Excuse the sniff. Yeah, going very nicely at the moment, and as we come to sort of the 3/4 distance of this race, just over half an hour to go now of this race, I can tell you that JTD2 did do. They had worked on their strategy. They were quite clearly doing a very different strategy, very interesting strategy, should I say, or one that I've not seen before. They were doing, so the first stint, very short. Second stint, very long. Middle stint for the first hour, medium. Now, when he pitted, the Scottish flag bloke, as I should call him, so he'd done the free stint, done the free stop, stopped within the time window. They then went long in this stint, so medium, long. Then they were going to do a very short pit stop for the final bit, and then do a medium length at the end. So, what's happened there? We've got a yellow flag out. What's going on here? Is it another? It's. Do you know what? We arrived at that just at the right moment, just as he was pulling off. So we didn't cost us too much time. But yeah, these cars, man. Like, again, not trying to slag any, not trying to sound like I'm moaning or complaining at all, because I'd be the last person to do that about my kart. With the exception of my car in the first race at Buckmore. It was really interesting to see more breakdowns in this race than I can sort of remember seeing. So that is a shame. But yeah, so again, coming on to JTD2's strategy, they were doing this really long stint. So it was again a case of their next pit stop, their fourth and penultimate pit stop, was going to be a long one. It's going to be a seriously long one, and at this stage I couldn't see where they were. They're coming into the final 5 minutes of this stint. It might be at some point around now where I start to see them coming into view. As I was coming out of turn 3, they were coming out of turn 1. So this stint works really well. Again, I was one with the kart here. I was feeling a bit of zen. And also it helped that I think JTD2's, I think their stop during this stint was a catastrophe. So he came out quite far behind me. So the combination of a bad stop, a long fuel stop regardless, and my lapping really consistently, really well, helped a lot in giving me a good lead whenever J2D2 would ultimately come into the pits. So yeah, just waiting for J2D2 to come into the pits. If you're wondering if I've slightly ruined the pickup on the commentary, if it sounds like I'm repeating myself, I did just have to pop off for a quick comfort break, and I've sort of forgotten what I was talking about before I did that. But yeah, coming into the final half hour of this race, one more stop to go for both myself and the rest of the grid, to be honest. Once we hit that 1 hour 35 minute mark, 25 minutes to go, the final pit window opens. I'm just having a look on the right hand side. Can we see J2D2? I think, do you know what, they might just be there now. There was a driver going through. I can't quite see on my little screen who it was, but I think they are there now. So now it's a case of right, we're now in front, the pit stop's gone well, and they've got one more stop to make. This is good. This is very, very good at the moment. As long as the final pit stop goes well and we can keep this sort of this momentum going, we are in a good position. And oh my God, Joe Holmes, that was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. I haven't been murdered that much I haven't been murdered that much since the last time I got murdered. Let me tell you, that is a funky story. Because I'm actually dead. Yeah, okay, so Joe Holmes' lapsus, ladies and gentlemen, is the main point of contention there. So I need a minute to recover from that, because that just came out of absolute nowhere. Did that little bit there. Another little sip of water just to keep the throat going. So now we've got one of the fastest drivers, one of the most notable drivers on the Club 100 grid in front of us. We're going to try and keep up with him as best we can, but as is sort of the way, particularly in the manner in which I got overtaken, he is just sort of, he's just sodding off really, probably taking about 6 tenths a lap out on me, based on the rate at which he is pulling away. It's interesting when guys like this do overtake me. It's like I can keep up with them for a couple of corners, and then something just goes wrong where it's like, not quite anymore. A number of reasons. I probably need to improve myself as a driver in a number of in a number of areas, I think. But we'll see how it keeps going. Again, racing at I think once we make the jump up to, as and when I can make the jump up to a higher level, whether that be clubman racing in the in this endurance series, or if I'm able to sort of get my act together and lose enough weight to comfortably race as a heavyweight in the SB60, which is now my ultimate goal. I'd love to race as a heavyweight and really test myself. Actually, do you know what? I don't think Joe Holmes took out too much time on us on that lap. You can still just about see, certainly on the screen I'm watching on, you can still just about see the glint of his white helmet with the absolutely fantastic rear wing on the back of his helmet. He's got one of them like Sebastian Vettel has, like Max Verstappen has on their helmets. It's one that I would have loved to have got for my helmet. It might have looked potentially a bit out of place now that I think about it on the bell, because I love my helmet. Got into a bit of not an argument last night, but a discussion with Mike Coppin about certainly the cost of my helmet, which I will say it was not cheap, but yeah, I love my helmet, and I'm very proud of it. I spent a lot on it. Yes, I did. And I do often think about, can I put an extra thing on it? Can I do this and that to it? But I sometimes think, is it really worth the hassle? Would I, if it was possible to have got a wing like Joe Holmes' on it though, I think I would, because I love that type of thing. You can get it for a so I race with an RS7 Pro, and you can get it for a I think it's a GT3 bell helmet. You can get a wing type thing, but it's on Demon Tweaks. It says specifically designed for this helmet, so I should probably leave good well enough alone there. But yeah, that's just all my little rants about helmets. The pit window has now shut, so anyone who hasn't pitted during that fourth stop will get a massive penalty applied to them. I think it is a lap deduction you get if you miss a pit stop during one of the windows. So we're now entering effectively the final phase of the race. It's the quiet before the storm. It's the final 5 minutes before the final pit stop. And it's getting intense. At this point, I'm just sort of driving around thinking, just got to keep it going. Just got to keep it going. Keep driving like this. J2D2 are sort of staying within the same sort of periphery, so I know that the pace is good. The pace is really good at this stage, and they have got another pit stop to make. And the chances are that I'm going to come out in front of them when that final pit stop does get made. And as I mentioned before, obviously I didn't know it at the time, but they will be pitting as soon as the window opens. And I think, don't hold me to this, but I think it was a bit. I think that might have been a very bad pit stop for them, or it might have been a good pit stop for them. I can't remember. We'll get into that more when the time comes. But again, just going about our business at the moment. No one in front of us to distract us, get in our way. Any number of things they could be doing. So I'm just going about my own business at the moment, setting my own pace, and having a whale of a time, really enjoying this track, and just sort of thinking, like, this is one of the tracks, BKC never went here, I came here once, it's not a track that is often spoke about. I think this is its first time on the Club 100 calendar for a while, for a number of years, and everyone was very happy to be back, and I think it was meant to be on the 2020 calendar, and it along with GYG were the races to fall away from the calendar last year, which is a real shame, particularly like GYG. Oh my god, I know I get so sad, very unfortunate we weren't able to go there again this year. Hopefully we can go next year, 2022, to what I believe is the best karting track in the country. For a number of reasons. One day I am going to do a video where I do a tier list of the karting tracks in the UK, and hopefully that will cause quite a lot of discussion on the various social media channels. Because I have now been to PFI. It was the last track I sort of had to go to in order to do the tier list. So I've done that now, and I feel like that video will be coming out sometime soon. I say soon, obviously my upload schedule is not the best. The interview I did with the guy for the club, talking about Club 100 Life, did that before Ellough, and that's like a half-hour video, and this is a 2 hour and 27 minute long video, and I'm doing this one first, so I think that shows you sort of where my scheduling and sort of planning is at. This is a hobby for me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't get paid for it. I do this when I like, and sometimes, you know what? Sometimes I don't want to do it. I again, take my time, and I'm not gonna. Shall I apologise? Nah, apologise for nothing. Unless I've actually been a genuine lummox and a genuine idiot, then I'll apologise. But nah, sod it. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? No one's watching. Right. Let's stop rambling. So at this stage, the final pit window will have opened, because obviously, again, as I said, we lost a bit of time through the GoPro changeover pit stop and the Rich T timer, probably about a minute. Excuse me if that got picked up over the microphone. Yeah, about a minute behind, I would say. So it is roughly around this point, I think, that J2D2 made their final stop, and they were significantly behind us on track. So it was like, yes, they've got. I think it was as I come out of turn 3, I noticed that they're gone, and I think, has something happened, or have they pitted? And that's when I twigged, like, they've done it like this way. They've had 2 very short stints, 2 very long stints, and then 2 medium stints at the end of the 2 half hours. So now for me, it's all about, because I've never when I do the racing with when I do the racing when I race with the endurance lot, I tend to be the first one out. This is the second time I've been the last guy out. I was the last guy out at Rye as well. So it's like, whilst okay, yes, that was the last race. Judging when to pit in the final stint, I think is potentially the most difficult, because it's like the field is spread out. At this stage you will know who you're racing. It's like, right, how you have to judge it on who you're racing against. And my theory was, I'm just going to keep going for as long as I dare, whilst also bearing in mind that the longer I go, the longer the pit stop will be with the fuel. So I think in my head I was looking at sort of around, obviously avoiding the actual moment where the pit lane opens, and then keeping an eye on the pit box when I would come in to ensure that the pit stop wasn't compromised. Are we just going to get out in front of this guy? Yes, we are. And I think it will probably be around this time where I've started thinking, hang on a second, getting close to this traffic. That guy just came out, just missed him. Is it worth pitting within the next few laps? Is it worth coming in when just as I get to the back of these guys? Is it worth making the pit stop, or if there's an opportunity to overtake them, shall I just do it? So I think it would have been that point when the guy came out of the pit. I reckon I'm going to go ahead and make a guess that as I think that the Peterborough lad with the yellow helmet goes down the inside into turn 5 on this chap in the white and black helmet. I think when I come round here, I'm going to give Jasper the special tap to say, coming in, last one. I don't want to get too tripped up with these guys, so that we can stay in front of JTD2 and give ourselves a decent amount of time over them. Because I reckon once he'd made his 4th stop, I reckon we were about I would say we were about 9 seconds or so in front. Obviously it would have been a lot more had the GoPro not happened, but I'll stop bleating on about that one day. But again, so as long as we win this race, I won't be too upset about that. Right, so getting towards the back of Peterborough lad. So again, I can't quite remember what I do. So at this stage, looking at it now, commentating it now, 2 options. 1, pit now, or try and overtake this guy. And we are going to pit now. So I was right in my earlier prediction. So here we go then. Final stop has to go well. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's your final one. Keep it clean, mate. We've got a good gap.
Right. So, here's what happened there. Talking to Jasper, just sort of finding out had J2D2 stopped again, and Jasper saying, yep, final pit stop, doing well, keep it clean. What happened then, as like, it was like, right, good, go, let's go. I went to put the fuel cap on. Jasper went to turn the engine on for me. That's how we do our pit stops. As I went to put the fuel cap on, I went to sort of like twist it, thinking it was on, I could just get it on and go. Went to twist it, it fell off, and scrambling about to make sure it went on. Tried to put it on again, it wouldn't go on, so I had to sort of basically just like force it on in order to get the damn thing on, and that cost us about 9 seconds. So remember what I was just saying about reckoning that JTD2 were about 9 seconds behind us? Well, as I came out of the pits, Craig was just coming out of the brow hairpin, so I had a good gap on him, and but it could have been so much better, and I just had to hope at this stage now, just less than 15 minutes to go of the race, is my pace good enough to hang on? Is his pace, and will his pace be good enough to catch up to me? We're all going to find out in the next 15 minutes. At the moment, we are still leading class. We are still in front of them. A victory is less than 15 minutes away. And in my head, I was just trying to be calm. but the way my mind works, I can't help but think of the sensation of crossing the line and be like, oh my god, we won this. And if we can win it through this final stint, after everything that's happened with the GoPro, with all the battling that ensued from that, and with this final dodgy pit stop that again cost us not as much time as the GoPro did, but certainly enough time to be of concern, it would be such a phenomenal achievement to be able to win it from here. So let's see how we get on. Let's see what lines we're taking through these corners. Again, looking good, looking planted, braking at the red part, not clipping the curb, running it a nice out over onto the curb, using as much of the track as we dare without incurring track limits. I don't think we did incur any penalties or even warnings through this race. And that's another thing that we've been really, really good at through this race. Certainly no penalties in the race. Don't know about warnings. But yeah, something we've been absolutely fantastic at this year, the three of us. Don't think we haven't picked up any penalties through any of the races that we've done. Warnings, yes. Did Jasper have a couple of spins at Wilton? Yes. He didn't get black flagged, but still we were able to come through and claim second in class that day, behind Brilio and in front of forgotten their name, FGS, something like that. So yeah, that's something we've been very good at. That's something we're just making sure to keep an eye on, because it would be awful to pick up a penalty, pick up a cone penalty or something. I think there is a point coming up where I do clip the tyre wall on the exit of the brow hairpin, but we're okay for the moment. Coming now through the final corner to start another lap. A corner that I felt like it looks fine. I think it's just the pickup is slow because of my weight. I know that sounds like an excuse, but it is the truth. I'm a 95, 96 kilo boy. I'm a super heavyweight. I will be slower off slower corners than other people will, and I think this type of track will extenuate some of the problems with being a super heavyweight. Just not quite picking up, certainly through tricky-ish corners like the brow hairpin, which is where I have been struggling, is where my super heavyweightness, which is a word, gets the better of me. So yeah, it's a shame, but it's just what we can do. It would have been really interesting to see how the SP60 would have gone, because I looked at the times in qualifying, and the times were more or less on pace with what I had managed in qualifying, and the track was obviously would have been a bit faster. Would I have won the SP60 had I got a clean lap in qualifying and then had clean races? The thing with me in the SP60 is that I don't think this year so far I've had a clear qualifying run. So I've never been able to quite qualify where perhaps I should have done. I've always been a little bit further back, and in some cases, particularly Lid, much further back than where I should have been. There we go. That is how these things work. It doesn't always work out, and you got to do the best with it. Because then during the races, that's what I do. I do much better in the first race, and then maybe sometimes a little bit worse in the second race than I would have liked. Best qualifying of the year, 7th SB Buckmore. Even then, that wasn't a fantastic qualifying. I was stuck behind the Ridge father and son team, and then Dickie Allen, who was on next level pace there. And then my first kart was awful, but my second race was fantastic, and that's I'd much rather it that way, to have a bad first race and a good second race, which is what I managed. So anyway, enough rambling about the SB60. We've got just under 10 minutes of this race left to go, and at this point it's like, right, no sign of J2D2 yet, and at this point I'm just thinking like, oh please can it just stay this way? Just less than 10 minutes to go. Can we stay in front? No, is the answer. The most definitive move of the battle between us from Craig there. What can I say? No chance. is what I can say. That was a really definitive, like, have some of that move from Craig there. Brilliant driver, very fast. Finding out, like, talking to him afterwards, finding out that he was, like, he compares himself to Titan. He goes off racing with the Titan lot. He's on that level. So really sort of puts into perspective, like, how well my defensive driving through the first stint was. But you can see here I'm still keeping close to him, but then he does just pick up more pace than me off the brow hairpin. That's where I was losing my time, and then it just sort of gets a bit further extenuated through the next couple of corners. So my plan is at this stage, it's like, right, been overtaken, just see how much he drives off from me from that final corner. But it's like, right, been overtaken, let's try and keep as close to him as we possibly can, so that there are a couple of drivers out in front. If he runs into problems with them, that we can still be there to try and have a go. But you can just see, particularly from the brow hairpin onwards to this point of the lap, he's just gained so much more time on me. And again, even I'm not going to lie, I didn't even know in comms, as we now get overtaken by Matt Willman, who will be lapping me at this stage. Wildman, not sure if that's how you properly pronounce his name, but we've now just been overtaken by him, and we've just lost so much time to Craig and to JTD2. And yeah, that's it. It's not. So annoying. If the GoPro pit stop hadn't happened, if the fuel cap hadn't decided to try and make a big bid for freedom, God knows what would have happened during this race. But there we go. It is what it is, and just gotta live with that, I'm afraid. But yeah, there's still hope. There is still hope. Again, Craig could encounter problems. He could take someone out by accident and get a penalty, which would mean I'd be in prime position at the moment to overtake, to get him, because as long as Matt Wildman has overtaken me is lapped me rather than overtaken me, which I think I'm 99% certain he has. I'll just have a quick gander at the ultimate standings. Yeah, he was definitely overtaking me for position. Definitely lapped me. Sorry, dumbass. But yeah, so just got to hope that something goes wrong for Craig and JTD2, so that we can have a chance of trying to claim a third victory of the year. But at the moment, we're looking likely for I think it will be our second place of the year, and there's nothing wrong with that. Here's the thing. Yes, J2D2 have beaten us. Yes, I've really wanted to win this race, but in the context of the championship, which is what we do have to, at this stage of the season, we do now have to start putting a little bit of thought to. We're in front of Brilio. Haven't seen Brilio ever since Jasper overtook them way back in a long time ago. Man, I've been sat here for a while. It's quite extraordinary how long I've been here, but I wanted to do it tonight, had to get it done, wanted to do it all in one big hit as preparation for my Rye House commentary on Saturday. And it is still like, whilst this is very good preparation, very good practice, still only just over halfway in terms of recording and talking for the Rye race on Saturday. And also I'll be commentating on qualifying as well, so that's half-hour qualifying followed by 4-hour race. So it's still not what I'm doing tonight, not even half of what I'll be doing on Saturday. Mental that is. But yeah, as you can see, Matt Wildman closing into the back of Craig and JTD2, and I'm just not getting anywhere near them at this stage. Matt overtaking me where he did just before, I think it was just before the brow hairpin. It's just so annoying, and it is like, either one of the 2 pit stops that went wrong doesn't happen, it's a different race. It's a different race, ladies and gentlemen. The GoPro one, the more significant one, but even the fuel cap one would have been a very different story than the one being told on your screen right now. But it's less than 5 minutes to go. We're nearly there, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you are still watching at this stage, if you have been watching this video from start to now, thank you. Just thank you so much. You are a god of men and women, and I salute you, sir or madam. Yeah, just thank you so much. And to anyone who is watching at this stage, who has fast forwarded to this stage of the race, thank you for your continual support on the Rich T channel. 418 subscribers on the channel at the moment. Can we get 500 by the end of the year? It's going to be very, very difficult to do, I think, because we hit 300 in sort of February, and it took us until July, August to hit 400. So I'm not confident of hitting 500. It'd be fantastic if we do. I will be so unbelievably happy. But yeah, there we go. There we go. Getting into the end of it now, and just trying to keep it as smooth as possible. I think we're just being overtaken. Yes, we are. It's Joe Holmes who's having a much more calm move there. And actually, you know what? I'm going to have a look. Do you know what? I had just a little look at overtaking, but I think halfway through going down the inside of Joe, I suddenly realised who I was trying to overtake, and how it's like, do you know what? This is probably not a good idea. And it was quite far back. It was a dive bomb derrick, and I pulled out of it, and like you can just see how much further ahead he is in front of me already. If you think back to a couple of minutes ago when he overtook me, and I was sort of keeping within him for a little while, not long, but a little while. So we take it all day long. As we're coming now, we're just taking another defensive line into turn 1. I think someone might be trying to come down our inside into turn 1 with just less than 2 minutes left of, just over 2 minutes, or actually no, sorry, just less than 2 minutes of this race left. We might even be coming on to the penultimate lap. This could be the penultimate lap right now, or it could be the third from last lap. Time will surely tell in this race. But as I say, J2D2 have buggered off now. Okay, we'll just see if anything can happen on these final few laps. Even if it does, I very much doubt I'll be able to benefit from it. But again, whilst it's disappointing not to currently be winning the race, and looking more and more likely that we're not going to take the ultimate win of this race, context of the championship, we're in front of Brilio. Another 5 points gained, or however many points it will be gained of them, is still a good return. Strong race, great racing. We can learn a lot from Jasper's first stint. Something that I will definitely apply to Bayford. It looks like, or we've just been forced out. We try and do what we did versus J2D2, but we've just been overtaken there. And I think that was for position in terms of race position. That chap is a clubman team. I think it's one of Slick Speed or SMJK Racing. One of them. It might be Slick Speed, to tell you the truth. But wouldn't have a clue. So here we go. Then I think we are just about to come on to the final lap. In fact, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the race. We've done the final lap. We were overtaken right at the death, or were we? Is this still? Are we still racing? Do you know what? I think we might have just had the leaders behind us, and I think we've just escaped. We've just been able to get one more lap in on this race. Let me just have a look again at the yeah, I think we were one lap down on the race leaders, and we were the last kart to not be lapped twice. So we are onto the final lap. But yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The final lap, it's not glorious. We were overtaken right at the end, and we are going to come across the line to finish second in class, 14th overall in the race. And yeah, there we go. My first ever full comms of the race, of an endurance race, and I really enjoyed it. My throat's a bit buggered, but yeah, that was an awful lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed that as well, if you are still watching, or if you've just come through to the end, regardless of whatever happens for this video. Again, this was just a bit of a passion project, a bit of something that I wanted just to do for myself. So again, final standings, JGD didn't weigh underweight. They finished first, we were second, and Brilio were in third place. So where I said we gained 5 points, and said or any number of points, I was trying not to give away a spoiler, but yeah, there we go. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That has been the full qualifying, practice qualifying and race for this round at Ellough Park. Thank you very much for watching, however much of the race you watched, and just a sort of little, I like these sort of things. I'm going to leave the final 2 minutes of footage in unaltered, unedited, just so you can sort of hear what me and Jasper and everyone else sort of has a chat about. But as the engine just turns off there, I will sign off for this video. The final thing I should say, as I always do, is that if you are still watching and you're not subscribed to the channel, is you just have a look at my ugly mug right there, just having a look to make sure the GoPro's still going well. Final thing that I shall say for now is please be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you know when a brand new video comes out on Rich T Racing. And the absolute final thing I will say for this race is ta-ta and farewell.
Good job.
Couldn't, like the fact I kept him back in the first stint is a miracle.
Yeah,
he was so fast.
He was
so fast.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
You too, right?
I think P2.
Two class.
Let's just hope he gets disqualified.
Yeah, exactly. Just.
Oh no, the guy who beat us, so fucking rapid.
Yeah.
So quick. Like the fact I kept him behind us in the first stint.
Yeah.
I don't really understand how I did that based on how fast I was in that third stint, unless I was just a lot worse in the third stint.
You were slower than you were at the start, but
James, did you do the first stint?
No, he didn't.
Oh. Did you end up overtaking me on track?
No.
Okay, I was gonna
to be honest.
No, you pitted early.
Yeah.
And then it all went wrong.
For me?
For you, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were last.
He did at one point we were leading the race.
Just as well here. It was great.
It was fantastic.
We should do that more often.
We should. I reckon that's about.
Oh, the thing is, my stint after that pit stop didn't feel bad.
Sadly, he looked quite big.
Annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was the Scottish guy.
Yeah.
I've done long stints, like I've done 2 hour long stints in DMAX and it's not hurt me before, so I don't know.
He didn't have to say anything, did he?
Yeah.